Hi guys, we're at day 5, which is Friday, and normally this would be our workshop day, but since we are not actually face to face, we are doing academics on Fridays now. So today's lesson, we are going to talk about similar triangles. Yesterday we talked about congruent triangles, and that was what your classwork and your homework was on. So today we're going to talk about similar triangles, not congruent. So here we go. All right. Similar triangles are similar but not the same size. Okay? So if we look at these two triangles, they are a similar shape, right? But they're not congruent because the sides and the angles are different lengths. All right? Similar triangles are proportional to each other. And so if we look at these two triangles and now we're given values for them for the sides, we know that they're similar because they're in proportion to one another. And the reason I know that is because 3 times 2 is 6, and 5 times 2 is 10, and 4 times 2 is 8. So that means that those sides are in proportion to one another, and so we can write those actually as proportional amounts on page 41. So we have 3 to 6 and 4 to 8, and we know that 3, 6 can be written this way, or it can be written as a fraction, and 4 to 8 can also be written as a fraction. So if we do the cross multiplication, 6 times 4 is 24, we're going this way, and 3 times 8 is going that way, and when we do the math, we see that they're both 24. We can still figure out the proportion even if we've got a missing number, because it would become 3 times 8 is 24 equals 6 times x, and again we're going to divide both sides by 6, and 24 divided by 6 is 4, and 6 divided by 6 is 1, or just x. So we're going to look at these two similar triangles at the bottom of page 41, and they've gone ahead and they've written the proportions. 10 20ths is proportional to 10 20ths, and then x minus 7 over 30, and there's that proportion. But what do we do if we have to calculate that? Well, we're going to the top of page 42. I know if I'm doing, and I'm going to put this up here so you can see it. And I know I'm going to do some cross multiplying. So this times this is 300, and 20 times x minus 7, which equals 20x minus 140, because I'm distributing those numbers out. So 2x minus 140. So on this side we have 300 equals 20x minus 140. Now we know we have to add 140 to both sides, and this becomes 440 equals 20x, and then I'm going to divide both sides by 20, and that gives us 22 is x. So now if I go back to my original 22, right? And we go back to our original problem, if x equals 22, then the base of that last triangle is 22 minus 7, which is 15, right? And if this is equal to 15, well, 10 times 2 is 20, and 15 times 2 is 30. So if I add that back in and I do all of our substitutions, because x is 22 minus 7, which is 15, 10 times 2 is 20, 15 times 2 is 30. So these triangles are similar, although they are not congruent. Okay. Now, we have two overlapping triangles. We have to make sure that our proportions stay the way that they're supposed to be. This big triangle here is 9 feet over 8 plus 4, which is 12. And if this side is proportioned to this side, then this has to be proportioned to here for the base. And so we've got 9 divided by x plus 4 equals 12 over 8. And we're going to cross multiply. 9 times 8 is 72. And this becomes 12x plus 12 times 4, which is 48. I'm going to subtract 48 from both sides to isolate my coefficient and variable. So 72 minus 48 is 24, equals 12x. And I'm going to divide both of those by 12, and they've done this on the next page. So this means x equals 2, because 24 divided by 12 is 2. And that's the answer that they give us. So now we have a story problem. A 6-foot-tall man, right, is standing 24 feet from a light post. The length of his shadow created by the light is 4 feet. Find the height of the street light. So this again is a similar triangle problem. We have the height of the man and the shadow it casts, and then we have the full length, and what we're trying to solve for is the height of this lamppost, so that is x. On the next page, page 45, they've drawn triangles for us so that we can see how we can figure this out. So this is the height of the lamppost, and this is the height of the man. So we have x over 6. Again, we're keeping it in proportion. And we have to add these together to get the full base. So 24 plus 4 is 28. So this full length is 28, and the length of this shadow is 4. So we have 28 over 4. If we're going to cross multiply, 6 times 28 is 168, and 4 times x. If I divide both of these by 4, and I isolate that x, then x is going to be equal to 168 divided by 4, which is 42 feet. And this is a slope formula or a slope problem. It says home builders use similar triangles to describe how steep a roof is or will be. Just like a slope measures how steep a line is, builders use pitch to show how steep a roof is to be built. So if we say that the pitch of a roof is 6 to 12, that means that for every 12 horizontal inches, the roof will go up by 6 vertical inches. And then that would give the pitch of the roof. And we're going to go to the next page, page 46. Half of the triangular rooftop is similar to our 6 to 12 pitch triangle, so if we know the length at the base or the height of the triangle, we could figure out the third dimension. If the base of this triangle measures 36 feet, then half of it is 18. So here are our ratios. 6 to 12 equals x to 18. Again, 12x and 6 times 18, because we are doing our cross multiplication to keep our proportions in proportion and as a ratio. And then we're going to divide both sides by 12. So x is going to be equal to 9. So the height of this triangle is 9 feet. Okay? And we just want to make sure that we're always consistent when we're creating our proportions so as not to mess anything up. 47 just gives us a couple more examples on how to keep things in proportion. And now we are at the worksheet for this page. I will do number 1 with you, and then you will be responsible for the rest of them. So, keeping these in proportion, I have 5 over 3x equals 10 over 30. Just got to make sure that our shorter sides and our longer sides match up. So we're going to cross multiply, and I know that 3x times 10 gives me 30x, and 5 times 30, well 5 times 3 is 15. We're going to bring that 0, so 5 times 30 is 150. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 30, and 15 divided by 3 is 5, but I need to keep that 0. Those two zeros cancel, so x is equal to 5. So 3 times 5 is 15, and I know I'm right, not just because I've done this math, because 5 times 2 is 10, and 15 times 2 is 30. So I know that I've gotten the correct answer because I can cross-check it. Alright guys, so that was our lesson today on similar triangles. And as I said, your job now is to finish the rest of the work for your classwork, and then do your homework and make sure you submit it to me so I can make sure your grade goes into the grade book. I hope all is well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope you're staying well, and I hope you're staying in contact with people, because social isolation, although social distancing, is clearly staying distant from one another. But with all the technology and your cell phones and all the different ways that we can get face to face, it's still important to stay connected to people. So take care, and I will see you on Monday.